and welcome to the Daily Mill for Tuesday, the 22nd of July 2025. And wouldn't you know, it's match day today, pre-season friendly. Obviously, we know it doesn't matter, but it does matter, but it doesn't matter, but it does matter. Oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It doesn't. You pick. But I'm going to tell you about it anyway because it happened, so it's news. And this is the match report from millfc.co.uk. Did you watch the game? Did you go to the game? Did you watch it on Mill TV? I did, and pretty good. Very impressive attacking wise. Obviously, one of the main problems last season was scoring goals. And we actually scored 3 in this game, which with a team that was stronger. We saw Femia's is, and we saw how good Femia's is, and what maybe the team was missing over the previous pre-season games. And it is kind of when you see Femia's is and see how great he is, you then look at Adomi Amaku and you think, why can't he be like that? And I think the reason is, I think it's sad to say now, seeing what we're seeing, that even though Amaku has his moments, that I think Femia's is a quality player in the Championship at this standard, and Amaku is an okay player in the Championship, and maybe a very good player in League One. So maybe it's time for him to move if he wants to progress. Much like if he goes to a top team in League One, they'll come up, and if they've got enough about them, they might push on again and get to the top of the Championship. Luton, if he goes to Luton, maybe they might do something. Obviously, you saw that with Fred Onyedinma. Fred, we let him go, and he worked his way up, and he ended up being in the Premier League with Luton. So, obviously he's not there now, but it is possible. But a Lions trio sink AFC Wimbledon pre-season fixture. Millwall were victorious at the Cherry Red Records Stadium as they fired 3 past AFC Wimbledon on Tuesday evening. Goals from Femia's, Jack Howland and Mihailo Ivanovic were the difference for a confident Millwall side in SW17. It only took Alex Neil's men 2 minutes to create the first big chance of the match when Ryan Leonard rose highest to meet a corner, but Macaulay Langstaff couldn't convert as the ball struck him inside the 6-yard box. Ryan Leonard, obviously playing left-back today. Yes, playing left-back, Ryan Leonard. I don't know what's happening with Ben Drake. I would like to think it's something positive, that maybe he's going on loan somewhere, because he was very good for Millwall. And, we've just signed Sturge. We've got Joe Bryan. We've also got Adam Mayer. So maybe Ben Drake's going out on loan, and maybe he's on training with a team. Maybe even play today as a trialist somewhere. Obviously, I haven't heard anything about that yet, but maybe there are people everywhere, and they all post this stuff online. So maybe we will find out if he did play today for someone else as a trialist. But hopefully he's not injured. Like I said, hopefully it's good news and not bad news. But no Ben Drake today. It only took Alex Neil's men. Oh, I've read that. Femia's fired home after just 5 minutes when a poor pass meant he could collect the ball and take a left foot strike past Nathan Bishop, which found the bottom left hand corner. Throw in from us. Ivanovic, I think it was Ivanovic, tried to flick it on, but their player got on the ball and passed it inside to their player, who may have been the trialist. I'm not sure. And he kind of let it run, and he he imagined that it was just like a normal, it wasn't from a set piece, which a throw-in kind of set like a set piece, and that there wouldn't be anyone there. Like, he let it run, and then, Femia's gets on the ball, and then the guy just, and Langstaff is running through behind, so he backs off, instead of, closing Femi is down or tackling him, he just backs off. Femi is okay, you're going to back off. He takes a touch and bangs it into the corner, bottom corner. So yeah, lovely jubbly. And like I said, it showed what we were missing, like the magic of Femi Aziz. Aziz nearly doubled the Lions' lead when Jack Howland's ball in behind AFC Wimbledon's defence found him before his effort went just wide. The hosts almost found the equaliser in Omar Bogle. Capitalised on Tristan Kramer's loose pass. His effort left Maxicom rooted to the spot, but whistled past the outside of the post. Alfie Massey nearly picked up an assist as his perfectly placed ball in behind the Dons' defence was met by Mihailo Ivanovic, who couldn't quite find the target from close range. The first real Dons chance came when Josh Kelly tried his luck from range, but line stopper Max Crocom was equal to the effort and saved comfortably to his left. Howland doubled the Lions' lead with a great strike from outside the area, which found the bottom corner after a great team move in the build-up. And that team move was... I know the final, like Ivanovic kind of backflipped, backheeled it into the path of Howland. This is about 25 yards out, and then Howland picks it up and shoots it on goal and scores. Very good game from Jack Howland today. AFC Wimbledon almost found a way back into the match at the start of the second half as they had two chances to find the breakthrough on Crocom's goal. The first was a teasing cross from the left, but Ryan Leonard did just enough to stop the ball finding Don's try to the back post. The second of two chances came as Josh Kelly drove through the heart of the Mill defence before playing the ball wide to the overlapping Steve Seddon. But his shot was fired just wide. It was then Ivanovic's turn. A perfectly timed through ball from Leonard found the Serbian striker, who rounded Bishop and fired into the back of the net in front of the Mill fans in the Toglet stand. Ivanovic made that goal on his own. He was fed through by Ryan Leonard, a ball through the middle of the two centre-backs. Ivanovic runs through. The goalkeeper comes out, closes him down, and then Ivanovic, takes it to the side. The goalkeeper has to dive at him. He doesn't have to dive at him, but he dives at his feet to try and knock the ball away. Misses, and Ivanovic just lumps it into the net, which is now open. So good day all round. A good day all round. No timing on the goals. But I think it was 2-0 at half time. I believe it was. The starting 11: Max Crocom, Tristan Kramer, Jake Cooper, Jafet Tanganga, Mihailo Ivanovic, Femi Aziz, Macaulay Langstaff, Ryan Leonard, Casper De Noor, Alfie Massey and Jack Howland. The subs that got used was Edemio Maku came on 45 minutes for Femi Aziz. Who else have we got? Rafiq Lamptey came on at half-time for would have been Alfie Massey. Wes Harding came on for Tristan Kramer. They all came on at half-time. Then we had changes in the 63rd minute, which was Luke Cundall, Benicio Baker, Kamal Grant, AJ Matthews. And they came on for, in no particular order, Jafet Tanganga, Mihailo Ivanovic, Casper De Noor and Jack Howland. And then we had changes right at the end, or 10 minutes before the end, which was Sheldon Kendall on the 78th minute, George Bowman on 79th minute, and that would have been for Macaulay Langstaff and Ryan Leonard. So there you go. We ended up having 9 subs used. There were unused substitutes, which was Jacob Preswosny, George Evans, so 2 goalkeepers on the bench. Okay. Is anyone going to moan about that? Because they moaned about that when I think Gary Rowett did it, and I think did Neil Harris do it as well? Who else is unused? Elias Mansour. So 3 unused players, the 2 goalkeepers, and the young, I believe he's a right back for the under-18s, who now graduated to the under-21s. So there you go. That was the game today. There's the AFC Wimbledon team, if you care. But there you go. Now, I believe Wimbledon are League 2, are they not? if they weren't, they're certainly going to be ending up there soon, because they weren't very good. One thing I did see and I did notice, I think Wimbledon were playing one up front with one behind. So at one point, Mill, they were doing a bit of like short balls from the goal kicks. It's not sometimes they faked it out, where they pretended to do it just to get the Wimbledon out of position, and then they lumped it along anyway. But one time when they did that, so there was 4 at the back, but not the 4 at the back that you would think from this short goal kick. It was the 2 centre backs, and then it was the 2 central midfielders, the 2 defensive central midfielders, Massey and Denor. So they basically were lined up in like a cube. They were like 10 yards off them. So they were the back 4, because obviously if something happens, miss kick or whatever, gets tackled, there's a back 4 with the 2 Wimbledon forwards, the one up, the one behind. So it's you got 4 versus 2. So you should be capable of dealing with that. The fullbacks weren't anywhere to be seen in the picture. They were way up near the halfway line. So that was interesting to see that. In that, rather than having a flat back 4, you had a 4 as a cube in the middle of the pitch from the short goal kick. And the 2 fullbacks were way up, even probably further than a wing back would be. They were way up the pitch. So that was something interesting to see. I thought Ivanovic was very poor in the first half. Very, not very poor, but you kind of forgot that he was on the pitch. Oh, there he is. There's Ivanovic. But then he popped up and he helped out with the scoring with Jack Allen and then scored his own goal. So there was that. And like I said, Femias is like everything you want a Maku to be, and it's a shame that a Maku isn't that. It's like, it's okay having speed, but you got to have the trickery to be able to carry the ball with you, with the speed, and be able to drop a shoulder and turn off a defender and do all that kind of stuff, which Femias is absolutely fantastic from, and good to see him back, because I think he's going to be very important in us if we are going to be scoring goals next season, which we want to be doing. We certainly want to be scoring goals more than we did last season. Now, moving on to this. This is from this website, sportwitness.co.uk, whoever they are. They're just reporting some stuff. The name is Kastu Pandey, so I think that might be Indian or something. What's happened is, right now you've got all of this AI stuff and whatnot. You've got all of these people in India just like trying desperately to get clicks and stuff, and make money, from X and stuff. But does that mean this isn't true? Because they're just reporting on what's been mentioned in the Italian press. So, maybe they're using AI to translate. They're going into like Italy and using AI to translate stories into English, so that then they can take them to an English website and then show it in English. Because if you go on a search engine and you search, it only searches in one language. It doesn't search. So if you're in England and you go on Google in England and search, it'll show you mostly English websites and American websites. That's it. That's all you're going to get. It doesn't have its bots that go out and find all this stuff, translate things, and bring them back to you. So there may be a market for people to do that, but I don't know. So let's get into what they're actually saying. So the move now depends on Kiesau. So last week, Gazzetta di Parma reported Mill's €60 million demand for Mihailo Ivanovic was forcing Parma to pursue other targets. The Italian side's initial offer for the striker was low, and there were signs that the London club could now keep the player. Parma today report that there is still a chance of Mill losing Ivanovic this summer. The Serbian remains the dream target for Parma, who have not yet given up hope of landing him. The fee demanded by Mill is still too high, but Parma are now relying on the key sale of Simon Som to help them sign Ivanovic. Parma held talks with Fiorentina last week for the Swede sale, and further talks will take place next week as they look to close in on an agreement. The midfielder's current valuation is 15 million euros. Once that move goes through, money earned will be used to sign Millwall's 20-year-old star, who scored 12 championship goals last season. At least that's the plan. Ivanovic joined the lines from Vojvodina in the summer of 2024 for only 3 million euros, and his potential sale will hand Alex Neil's side a major capital profit. Possibly, but again, you need to replace him. He scored 12 goals last season. Is expected and hoped to score more this season. Goals in the championship, they're not easy to come by. So, yeah. So it could you imagine, we've got Coburn. Obviously, Coburn, by the way, did you notice Coburn wasn't in the squad today? So, is he injured? Why wasn't he involved? How long's he going to be out for now with that injury that he picked up in Spain? So if he is injured, you sell Ivanovic, we're left with Langstaff and Nisbet. Yeah, I'm sure that the goals that they don't score will keep us up, wouldn't it? But again, this website, they're just translating stuff, so not really too sure if it's true or not. But now moving on to this. Obviously, yesterday announced that Mill's head of recruitment, or whatever he was, technical scout or whatever it was, he's left Millwall, and they said goodbye to him. They said, Dan McLoone, farewell, adios. He's now, the day after, it's just been announced he's joined Leyton Orient. See, if you didn't know, Leyton Orient, I believe they've been taken over by Americans, I think so. So they are kind of making moves behind the scenes in terms of getting a bit more professional, and they've signed Dan McLoone. He joins as the OZ of recruitment. So yeah, Leyton Orient are delighted to confirm the appointment of Dan McLoone as head of recruitment. McLoone arrives in E10 following 18 years at Millwall and joins Leyton Orient in a new role at the club as we continue to develop and strengthen our off-pitch infrastructure. Beginning his time in the analysis department of the Lions, he progressed through the department before becoming the head of technical scouting in SC16. He was a vital component in Mill's promotion back to the Sky Bet Championship 2017 and comes to E10 with a fantastic reputation. Orient Director of Football Martin Ling is delighted to welcome McLoone to the club, as he stated. Dan comes to us with an excellent track record. He's extremely well thought of in the industry. As a club, we want to continue building both on and off the field, and Dan will definitely enhance our presence in the transfer window among many other fields. He's learnt his trade at Millwall, and Steve Gallen can't speak highly enough of him, and we're excited to see what we can achieve together in what I think is a really exciting time for the club. Welcome to E10, Dan. Yes, Leyton Orient seem to be making moves. Obviously, they made the playoffs last season. They didn't get through. They might be up there this year. They have to finish in the top two to go up, or the playoffs and go through that. But I'm still back in Luton. I am still back in Luton. I think Luton are going to win the league. So there you go. Now, moving on to this interview with Jake Cooper. This is from the southernnews.co.uk. Mill's Jake Cooper discusses final day at Burnley and how he's sure Lions are set for an exciting season. Jake Cooper is convinced Millwall are going to have an exciting season as the defender gears up for another tilt at the Championship's top six. The Lions fell just short again on the final day of the 24-25 campaign, losing 3-1 to Burnley at Turf Moor when a win would have clinched 6. That was a tall order, however, given Burnley had lost one of their previous 58 home Championship matches and 3 in 95 since March 2013. It was a different kind of final day compared to 2023 when Gary outside were 5th in the table as they led Blackburn Rovers 3-1 at the Den at half-time only to collapse after the break and lose 4-3 to finish 8th. Cooper still felt the disappointment, even though there was little expectation outside the club that they could pull it off against the Clarets. Well, we scored first, and then a minute later we let them score. Of course, you dwell on it for a couple of days. Cooper told us it then. You think of what ifs and what could have happened, but you move on quickly, and there's another season coming, and it's going to be a challenging one. You have to move forward. You can't dwell on the past, and we've had a nice break, a nice rest with the family, and we look forward to coming back and seeing everybody. Millwall have broken the transfer record 3 times in the last year on Mihajlo Ivanovic, Kamil Negley and Josh Coburn. It's put to Cooper that this is perhaps as ambitious as the club has been in his time as he approaches his 9th full season in SC16. Yeah, but that comes with the sales of Zion Fleming and Romain Esse. For us to lose 2 very good players, we've obviously built back with a lot of signings that have improved the team, and I believe you have to give credit to the chairman and the board, and hopefully we can keep pushing and add a few more this summer. It should be an exciting season. Cooper believes that the key to that will be the fitness and form of a potential strike partnership with Ivanovic and Coburn. Well, we've just heard that Ivanovic is going to be off, so if you believe that. Ivanovic scored 2 winning goals and another 2 in a 3-1 victory over Norwich City, and Coburn 3 winning goals after the turn of the year last season. Oh, they're a great partnership. They can be very difficult for teams. Mika's finishing is at a top level, and Josh's all-round play gives us an outlet and a target for us to use. I'm sure they can produce a good season if we can keep them together for the whole season. Millwall supporters have got a glimpse of the next generation of academy talent coming through, as a number of them travelled to Spain for the pre-season training camp and will get further opportunities in friendlies ahead of the start of the championship season against the Canaries at Carroll Road on August the 9th. And Cooper said, we've had a few injuries and it's given an opportunity to some of the young boys, and they fitted in the group seamlessly, and it's been a joy to have them around, and they get to see what it's like at this level, being involved with the championship first team. It's a great experience for them, and they've impressed so far, so long may it continue. So there you go. Jake Cooper there. Captain? Still the captain? New captain? Has it been announced yet? Don't know. We'll see. I don't know who decides. Is it the Millwall players or is it the manager? I don't know. But probably up there. He's been there 9 years. Probably up there as a captain. Now, this is a funny one. Funny as in, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. So, the BBC, the sport.co.uk, they have this page, you can see their gossip, right? What that basically does is it collates all of the football news for the day that other newspapers and news sites have. So you can see they've got from the Mail about Emi Martinez, Newcastle United, James Trafford, etc., etc. ESPN, The Star, The Sun, etc., etc., etc. Right? So you got all of this. So they just have a little, one sentence, and then you've got the where that story came from, and I believe it's a clickable link. Yeah, it's a clickable link. So they're paying it forward. They're like, if you want football news, we've got. They took the headline and a line, and then they let you click onto somewhere else if you want to go and find it. So fair enough for them, they get a lot of traffic and they're kind of spreading it out to other people. However, you go right down to the bottom, have a look at that. Millwall, that's us, will battle Dundee United for former Luton and Scotland midfielder Allen Campbell, 27. Yes, that's apparently from a place called Sports Boom. Again, who the fuck are they? Right, you may remember that name, Allen Campbell. He played for us before. He was on loan 2 seasons ago. He was on loan. He didn't play that much. The season after that, he went on loan to Charlton for the season. In January, they decided to send him back to Luton. He was a Luton player. And Luton cancelled his contract, and he signed for Dundee United on a short-term deal for the rest of the season. And he's been playing in Dundee United. Well, he has and hasn't been playing for Dundee United. So last season, he started out at Charlton on loan and ended up at Dundee United on a short-term contract. And now this website, Sports Boom, is saying that we are competing with Dundee United for his signature. Okay. So let's have a look at what they actually said. So this is them here. You can see this website, it looks kind of ridiculous. So, exclusive. Probably the reason why it's exclusive is you just made it up. So, obviously, if you make it up, it's your exclusive. Dundee United. This, by the way, this is from sportsboom.co.uk. Let's give them credit, even though it's probably not deserved. Dundee United is exploring a deal to sign former Luton Town Lone Star Allen Campbell as a free agent. Millwall is also interested. Campbell, a former Scotland international, impressed with Dundee last season. Dundee? He was at Dundee United. You can't even get that right. If you're going to make stuff up, you should probably get it right, because there is a team called Dundee United. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to not use the phrase Dundee United again. But you should probably say he was at loan. He was with Dundee United last season. He's played in the Scottish Premiership and Championship, helping Luton win promotion. Dundee United, has made several signings for the upcoming season, aiming for success in European football. So, Dundee United are exploring the possibility of bringing Allen Campbell back to Tannadice on a long-term basis. Sports Boom can exclusively reveal, but face competition from English Championship side Millwall. The 27-year-old midfielder enjoyed a productive short-term stint with the Terrors last season, helping the club secure a fourth-place finish in the Scottish Premiership. Campbell initially joined Dundee United in January after being released from his contract at Luton Town. The deal was a short-term agreement that ran until the end of this season and did not include an option for extension. Sources indicate the Scottish club are now preparing to table a new offer in a bid to convince Campbell to commit to a longer stay in the top flight. Millwall, meanwhile, are understood to have held initial discussions with the players' representatives, although formal offer has been made at this stage. So, not being funny, but I believe, I'm not sure if the Scottish Premiership team's already, the Scottish League Cup has already started. I think they played today. I'm not sure if Dundee United played. Why are they waiting to sign him if they want to sign him? A former Scotland under-21 international, Campbell made 13 appearances for Dundee United last season, following a loan spell at League One side Charlton affiliate during the first half of the campaign. Additionally, Dundee boss Jim Goodwin is a big admirer of the player, but someone he saw make his mark for Scotland under-21s and earn himself a full international cap in 2022. He's got one Scottish cap. And he says, I thoroughly enjoyed watching him develop into one of Scotland's greatest talents during his time at Motherwell, said Goodwin, when he signed Campbell on a short-term deal in January until the end of last season. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read all that. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. It's just a word salad because, they want to get the thing. Now, this is interesting, though. So, this is the guy who wrote it, Neil Goulding. Got his LinkedIn profile there. Interesting. What's that about? Neil has been a journalist for longer than he'll care to remember, having written for national newspapers and respected publications for over 25 years. For the last 3 years, he's worked freelance for BBC Sport, working on the production desk as a sub-editor and also as a writer covering a range of sports. So, again, it's interesting. So, is he working there now? Is he the one who got this put on here? So he's writing for this website called Sports Boom. Maybe he's involved in running it, I don't know. He writes up this thing, whether it's true or not, obviously I don't know. It's his exclusive. and then he puts it on the BBC website to get clicks through to the website that he's running. Or even if he's not him, obviously if he's working at BBC, he knows someone at BBC, so he'll know the person that's running this and can say, hey, can you put this here? Whether that's, genuine sincerely or not. Well, he does have another one here. I've just seen this. Coventry, Derby and Oxford are interested in 32-year-old German defender Patrick Bauer. Weren't we linked with Patrick Bauer? I believe we were. So no surprise if Gary Rowett maybe be linked with him again. So yeah, this is a weird one. Now, it is weird. Why would we go back in for him? Last time he was here, he barely played. Even though he barely played and he kind of disappeared, and there were times when he wasn't even being named on the bench. He seemed to there wasn't stuff coming out behind the scenes about him being a bad egg about that. He seemed to that you would see him he would go on trips to schools, reading to the kids and stuff like that. So he still took part in all the stuff behind the scenes. He still trained and stuff like that. So it doesn't look like, even though he wasn't playing, that he kind of threw his toys out the pram. So again, is this bullshit? It might be bullshit, but we just had Massimo Luongo on trial. He wasn't involved in today's game. He went to Spain though, and it looks like we're trying to sign someone who is capable of playing in the Championship, but doesn't mind if they aren't. That will be happy to sit on the bench because of reasons, maybe their age, or that kind of thing, or they wouldn't mind playing second fiddle. So this wouldn't surprise me if there was some interest, because again, if we only have a certain amount of money to sign another midfielder of standing that is capable of playing in the Championship, proven, and he has proven, he's proven more than Massey, he's proven more than Kelly, and you will say, well, if you don't play Massey, how can he prove himself? He proved himself earlier last season when he played against Portsmouth in the Cup. That was a Championship team. Even though it was in the Cup, he played pretty well in that game. So, why don't you just keep Massey and bring him in here and there and everywhere, rather than signing Campbell? They tried to keep George Saville, but they wanted to cut his wages, and he said no thanks, and he left to Luton. They went to Massimo Luongo, who's 33 years. He's going to be 33 years old. So they imagine maybe we can sign this guy for cheap because he's 33. Who else is going to want him? So maybe they made the offer to him, and his eyes have gone oof, and he's decided, I'd rather not play than sign this contract because it's not that much money. The hassle, if he's still living in the Ipswich area, driving down, going around over the Dartford crossing, oh my God, can you imagine? And then driving around the M25, coming up to Calmont Road to train for an hour or two, and then driving back doing that. He probably, it's not worth it. I might as well just sign for Colchester on a lot less money. It's going to be easier for me. But maybe, I think there's some even clubs in Essex, like non-league ones, that might have more money, like Bournemouth Braintree or something like that, or # United. So again, we are in the market for third, fourth choice central midfielder, and if I just show you, so here he is. That's what he looks like. This is from fbref.com. And these are the games that he played for Millwall in the 23-24 season. We got him on loan, and we thought, wow, okay, might be, is he any good? And he was only involved in 2 wins. One was against Rotherham, one was at Plymouth. So, if we play him against the shitter teams in the league, he might do okay. He got 2 assists. what we got? His passing accuracy, pretty good, except for, 2 games where it's 63. Bizarrely, 63.6 exactly. Maybe the opposition was playing 3 in midfield, that kind of overrun, I don't know. Against Rotherham in the game, they won 3-0. And against Leicester, we lost 3-2. But you can see it. So he came in, he was involved, 16th of December, and then he was still on loan, but he wasn't involved in the rest of the league, in the rest of the season. So again, I don't know what happened, but he was in the background, he wasn't involved, he didn't play again. I'm not sure if he made any more benches or what, if he was a non-playing sub, but this is his Millwall career last time out. So again, the fact that if we're going in for him, maybe, wages-wise, he's going to be happy to just pick up less wages and be at a championship club and be in the background, training every week, and maybe being on the bench, maybe not, and maybe getting on and maybe not. But 724 minutes played, got 2 assists. Again, he's Scottish. Alex Neil's Scottish. I don't know. I don't think they know. Maybe they know each other from Glasgow. I don't know if they know each other. Don't think he's played for Alex Neil, but they probably do know each other in some regard. But yeah, so this is what he did for Millwall last time he was on loan in 23-24. And this is what he did last season. So you can see he's still involved and he's not really playing that much. He went to Dundee United. Now Dundee United obviously in the Scottish Premier Division, which to some extent is kind of on a par with League One, except for when you play Celtic and Rangers, maybe Hearts as well, but his ratings aren't insanely good. He's played 90 minutes against Celtic, got a 6.25 in a 3-0 defeat. Played in the 2-2 draw at Aberdeen, 90 minutes, 6.83. You can't really judge him on this. He's had substitute appearances and he's got low rating in them, but that's just to be expected. You come on as a sub, you get 12 minutes, you get 7 minutes, you get 2 minutes. You're not going to do that well. 3-1 defeat by Rangers. He played 90 minutes, got 6.94. Interesting to see. Maybe he has injury issues or something. So you see the Dundee United Neil St Mirren 2. He came off the bench, played 7 minutes. 4 days later was the Rangers game. He played 90 minutes in that. 3 days after that, they won against Aberdeen. He played 2 minutes. So maybe he's not up to playing. Maybe he's got a dodgy knee or something like that. He can't play that much. If he plays and he aggravates his knee, it blows up. Maybe that's the situation. But again, it would be very Millwall of us to sign a player like that just because they're cheap. So there you go. And again, he started out at Charlton. They signed him on loan, and then at the end of the January transfer window, they kicked him back to Luton, and Luton, paid off his contract because it was up at the end of the season, and sent him off to Dundee United. So there you go. So this is in League One. So last season he played in League One and in the Scottish Premiership, and his ratings are so. Some high points, but pretty average, really. So there you go. A very weird link to be linked with a player that barely played for us 2 years ago. He's now 27 years old. He's born on the 4th of July. So he's just turned 27. Again, personally, I mean, I saw Massey today playing against AFC Wimbledon. He played pretty well. maybe you could give Massey a go, and if it doesn't work, bring someone in January, but I don't know. We'll see. Now, mention this. The Southwark News, I don't know if you know this, they don't just write about Millwall, they actually write about other stuff. And one of the things that we got here that I saw on the things on the side when I was going on Millwall is drivers face a total of 30 road closures over the summer when driving through Southwark. And this is very Millwall related because you'll find that out in a minute. So Peckham Road will see roadworks lifted and set to open for the first time in 3 years. 3 years. Can you imagine? Absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, this is from southwarknews.co.uk. 30 road closures are set to disrupt Southwark residents over the summer while major works are carried out by the local council, TfL and gas and water companies. The upcoming roadworks will last from a few days to a few months, while a Peckham Road will see roadworks lifted and is set to open for the first time in over 3 years. Bianca Road is on the Peckham side off the Old Kent Road, closed on May the 21st, 2022 and is due to reopen on August the 20th, 2025. What the fuck? Using information supplied on one.network. We'll look at that in a minute. The Local Democracy Reporting Service has compiled a list of roads that will be closed over the next few weeks with expected opening dates. The longest upcoming road closures are on Ilderton Road in Peckham from July the 28th to February the 20th, 2026. Yes, the road is closed at the moment. It will then be closed again for most of next fucking season. What the fucking fuck? It was closed for most of last season, and it's going to be closed again next season. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Yeah, we go down, and you can see here, Ilderton Road, Peckham, Southwark Council road closure, July the 28th to February the 20th, 2026. And look, you can see here, ongoing road closures, Ilderton Road, Peckham, the Thames Water road closure that's on at the moment. This says July the 25th, but the website says something else. So that's the emergency one, because I told you about the flood the other day that flooded Ilderton Road and meant there was problems getting into Millwall. They've got one going on now, TfL road closure, June the 30th to September the 1st. And that's to build a bloody bicycle crossing to go, because they want to make it easier for people to travel from Ilderton Road or Old Kent Road over towards where the football pitches are. Was that called Broomington? Something like that, Broomington. Rollins Street, which is again near Millwall, June the 2nd to July the 23rd. Surrey Quays, Shad Thames, all of these. So, let's get onto that website. Now, you need to bookmark this website or figure it out. The website is literally one.network. That's it. That's the website. No www or all of that. One.network. And you go on there and it's got the road closures for the whole of the country. You need to get this website. It's very useful. And you go on here and you can actually go backwards, but you can go for today, the next 2 weeks, the next 3 months, or the next 12 months. So it's insane how many roadworks there are. Look at this. I've set it for the next 3 months. So the ones with green are works that are happening, so they dig up maybe the pavement. It's not going to close the road. The red ones, where it's got the no entry sign, that's going to close the road. What you're seeing here, you can barely see the road, is Ilderton Road. And at the moment, it's closed on both ends. Not only is it closed on both ends, so it's closed here. That's the waterworks one. The E is emergency, so that wasn't planned, it's emergency. And it says here that's supposed to go on until the 31st of July. So maybe they just did that on paper. Maybe it is going to open on the 25th, I don't know, but it says the 31st of July. And you go down here to, was it this one? Oh, there's loads here. You go down and you've got, this is the one that's going on now, and this is the one that's coming up, the 28th of July to the 20th of February. So there you go. And at the moment, we have this situation on Surrey Canal Road, this one here, which is temporary traffic lights because the road has been reduced to one lane because they're putting in a water pipe on one side of the road. So they have temporary traffic lights to let alternate traffic flow one way and then the other. So if you're travelling down to Millwall at the moment, you're completely fucked because the Alden Road's closed at both ends. You have to come in through the middle, so you either go down Surrey Canal Road or you go all the way down and you come through this way, through Verney Road and then across the junction where it connects into Alden Road into Zampa Road, John Berylson Way. So that's how you're getting into Millwall at the moment. Obviously, this one here, we do have a game on the 2nd of August, the pre-season friendly, so this should be lifted by then. But, so like I said, if you are travelling to the ground next season, or if you're travelling anywhere, get this website, get it, put it as on your own page, on your phone, one dot network, This is a vital tool just to see anywhere you're going to travel, how fucked up the roads are. And adjust your plans accordingly. So there you go. And now, moving on to this, we're going to discuss the under-21s. I mentioned this the other day. Mill finally got around to putting up the match report from the game. Not much of a match report, just giving you the result. 4-0 defeat to Maidstone United at Maidstone. It was a team full of trialists, although we know Jacob Preswosny was there, so I presume he played. They have a game at Welling United on Friday the 1st of August, and not this Friday, next Friday. This popped up. So, we're going to get into this, which it looks like there's changes coming to the under-21 situation next season. And it may be connected to basically the Premier League paying more money to the EFL clubs who went with a begging bowl and in one hand and a stick in the other, demanding, give us more money from the Premier League. For what? Well, we're finding out for what. Because nothing is for free. So now the entire, football system is being run by the Premier League. Because the EFL went to them with a begging bowl and demanded money from them. They got that money and now they have to dance to the tune that the Premier League demand. And we have a situation now. This hasn't been confirmed. I haven't seen this confirmed anywhere. I've tried to confirm this. It hasn't been confirmed. Now this is a website called youthhawk.co.uk. They seem to know their stuff. So I'm inclined to believe that this is true. So this is next season's Professional Development League 2. Professional Development League 2 is the league that Millwall's under-21's playing alongside all of these other under-21 teams. Last season, and for many seasons before that, is split into North and South. And what happens is, the top two teams in the South and the top two teams in the North go through to the semi-finals. The first in one division plays the second in the other, and whoever wins at each semi-final goes through to a national final, which is then held at the team that finished highest or got the most points. And then, if they win that game, it's one-legged. The semi-finals are one-legged, the finals one-legged. Whoever wins that game, they win. They're the champions. And Millwall were the champions, not last season. Not last season. Last season we finished third. We didn't go through to the final. The season before that we went through the final but we lost. And the season before that, so we're now 2 seasons ago, we won the thing. We got through to the final. It was at the Den, the final. We won it. It was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant to see. We are probably never going to win this thing again, due to the changes that are taking place. So let's read about what changes. This doesn't really make any sense either, but I'm going to read it as it's written. The Professional Development League 2 is under-21s football's second tier. It's designed for those academies with Category 2 status. The league, previously split regionally into North and South divisions, is now a single table with teams playing a geographically aligned fixture schedule. The sides finishing in the top 8 positions in both regions at the end of the season will progress to a playoff stage against Premier League 2 opposition. Brentford are the defending champions, whilst Huddersfield Town return to Category 2 for the 25-26 season. And I think they were in the below section. There's another thing that's below. It's run by the EFL, I believe. I think this one is kind of connected to the Premier League. So, again, as it says here, this is second tier. This is under 21 second tier. The Premier League 2 is under 21 first tier, top tier. So, again, this doesn't make any sense. It says it's now a single table. If it's a single table, so you can have a single table, but you only play against your teams in the south. Okay. But if you had a single table, that wouldn't make any sense. That would fuck up the league. Because the northern section is dog shit. It's not very good. You have 2 or 3 good teams at the top. And it looks like these are the teams that are qualified. So we've got no Burnley. Burnley were in this last season. So they look to be out. Sheffield United here? Sheffield United are there. They were again very good. Hull was as well. Hull was still there. So you have 3 teams at the top of the northern section that just run away with it. The other teams are really, really bad and they don't do well at all. But in the southern section, it's really hard and very competitive, And Bournemouth and Brentford come into it. They're Premier League teams. We were struggling against them. They were absolutely running away with it. We were competing. We were trying, but, it's not easy. Because the best of our under-21 players went on loan or were involved in the first team. But you have a very competitive southern section. So what you'll end up with is, if they were to do what they want to do, which doesn't make any sense, you would have probably the 3 teams at the top will be the northern teams. And then the next load of teams will be most of the southern division. And the teams at the bottom will just be the northern shit. The detritus. And maybe Colchester. They always don't do very well. Poor old Colchester. So, yeah. But it says here, the sides finish in the top 8 positions in both regions. So if that's the case, what's the point of having a single fucking table? Don't make no sense. So again, I'm not sure. Again, I can't see any official thing about this, so maybe it's not clear what that's going to be. Why do that? Why not just have a separate table? Don't make no sense. Unless they are going to have a single table, and then they just pick the top 8 in each region. Which, again, don't make no sense. So you've got the top 8 positions in each region, north and south. Or again, we don't even know if it's north and south. It might be east and west. I don't know. We always do north and south. Oh, it's always north and south. Why don't you change it up and go south and east and north and west? And then you can have Cardiff and thing. They can play in teams in the north. Why have they got to come all the way down to southeast London? Let them go up to fucking Lancashire. Where was I? Okay. So you've got top 8. So that's 16 teams, right? So you've got 16 teams. So let's go and look at the page for Premier League 2. So again, they're changing this. This is being changed. This is Premier League 2. I'm going to skip the first bit and look at the thing in the middle. It says, a 21-game week scenario will see teams playing each club in their own pot, plus 4 or 5 teams in all other pots, either home or away. After this, the combined table will determine playoff positions, with the top 16 qualifying for the knockout format. So again, you have this. So they're doing it like the Champions League or the Europa League, where you have a league system, and then the top 16 go through to a knockout format. But you have, this is the top division of, this is tier 1 of the Premier League. Millwall's division, Professional Football League, is tier 2. So this is like if you had playoffs to decide who won the league between the top 16 teams in the Premier League and the top 16 teams in the Championship. That don't make no fucking sense. One team is the top tier. The second teams are the bottom tier. The next down, the second tier. That doesn't make any sense. It literally makes no sense. Why don't now? So you can see here. So it might be interesting in terms of, you know, we could have some interesting games, but you know, will it be seeded? I'm sure it'll be seeded because, you know, this doesn't make any sense to the start. So I'm sure it's going to be seeded in the favour of the Premier League teams. So let's say, you know, we manage to go through, and then we play Arsenal, and you think, and let's say that these games, so it's going to be 16, this top 16 here, and 16 from Millwall's division. So that's going to be 32 teams. So to get to the quarterfinals, you're going to play round 1, round 2, then you get the quarterfinals, then the semi-finals. So this is like before Millwall won the under-21 competition. We won the whole thing because it was the second tier that we were playing in. Now, by doing this, the chances of Millwall winning this competition have just been yanked out from under us. Like, there's no chance now. Like, it's gone. We're not winning this. And so that kind of makes sense when you see they're playing with a team full of trialists, because they know they're not going to win. So this, like, in terms of playing league games to try and win the trophy, it doesn't matter. You're not going to win the league trophy now. It's impossible to do that. Let's say you do get through and you're going to have to play a Premier League team in round 1, the Premier League team in round 2 probably, and then in the quarter-final, and then in the semi-final, and then in the final. So you're going to have to play 5 knockout games against better opposition that have garnered and gathered all of the best, you know, youth players from around the world, and you've got to play 5 knockout games to try and win a trophy. Whereas before, we were playing in our own team. We were playing tier 2 teams. You know, it's done. Like, all the under-21 thing now is just for player development. That's it. We're not going to win another thing ever again, because the EFL went with a begging bowl to the Premier League, demanded money, got the money, and now the Premier League are demanding what the under-21 setup's going to be. And this makes no sense, because what happens at the moment, so they're copying the UEFA model of this one big league, but it would make sense if they took the top 16 teams in their league and then they went off and had the knockout. That would make sense. And then let's say the next set of teams, the next 8 or so, they went through and played the teams from Millwall's division of tier 2. That would make sense. It would give us a chance then, because we wouldn't be playing the top teams in the tier above us. We would be playing, you know, the middling teams in the tier above us. So it would give it a chance. But from the way that this is written, you know, this looks like it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. You know, you're just going to get absolutely wiped out. And it would be interesting to see. Now, you know, they did say that about, obviously, again, with the Premier League money and that, Premier League demanded that they wanted teams in the Football League Trophy. They got their teams in the Football League Trophy, and oh no, they're going to run away with it, you know. The Premier League's under-21s are going to run. They haven't really. You know, it hasn't been the case. And they've now copied that and put a competition in the non-league with the National League Cup. So they're doing that, and now they're doing this. So yeah, this is troubling. It's very troubling. Again, we'll see how it actually plays out, but I mean, the chances of Millwall winning a trophy seem to be over. Millwall's under-21s probably won't be winning a trophy ever again. And you say, well, that doesn't really matter. It's about developing the players, getting the players in the first team. Yeah, but I mean, how do you get the players? How do you get decent players to join your setup if you're Millwall rather than Crystal Palaces or Charlton or Chelsea or Arsenal? You win games and you have good facilities and you show there's a progression into the first team. You know, under 21 players don't want to play for a team that's losing 5-0 every week. You know, that's not going to help you either, is it? And it remains to be seen, you know, what is this knockout stage going to look like? Is it going to be a one and done? So then what, the under 21s aren't going to have any fixtures for, you know, the second half of the season? They're going to get to that round one of the knockout stage, lose, or is it going to be another little mini league? We don't know. But again, this is a load of shit, to be honest. And again, you know, even if we did get through, let's say we get through to round one or whatever, and let's say we get drawn away to Arsenal, you think, oh, and let's say the rules say the knockout games have to be played at the club's ground. You think, oh, we can go to the Emirates and watch Millwall under 21s. Well, yeah, probably not, because these teams have designated under 21 grounds that they play at. I think Arsenal's is Boreham Wood, Chelsea's was it Aldershot or something like that. So you're not gonna go to these grounds and play. See a Mill team in this ground. It's not what's gonna happen. So yeah, this is. It sounds like a complete load of old shit, but we'll wait to see what happens. Obviously, the under 21 fixtures aren't out yet. So we wait to see how this is going to work. But the days of Millwall under 21s winning trophies appears to be over, unless they enter themselves into maybe the London FA Cup, the Kent Senior Cup, or one of those cups, or maybe they start their own cup against other London teams and the London under 21 Cup or something, the EFL under 21 Cup. Start their own competition against London teams and do something like that. Sort it out themselves. I don't know, but yeah. On that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.